I just released a technical paper on the learning labels technology. Technical not in how the paper is written, but just how the concepts are applied in the system. This represents more than 4 years of work. The system is currently patent pending. The video is meant to attract adopters, investors, and partners to this technology. Learning labels is a system to manage and track skills, produce a standardized display. I hear the remark, so these skill labels are like nutritional labels, but for learning or education. The inspiration didn't start with a nutritional label, though later it had an influence. The nutritional label is a highly effective standardized display. Learning labels have significant other attributes. They're optimized for digital experience, data can be interpolated over time, they link to education and training standards, and a learning gain is calculated as a number. Learning labels solve bigger problems on a macro level. There are no borders, there are no stages, they are comprehensive, they are versatile, they are a basis for accountability. Learning labels help solve the problem in understanding how long it takes to learn a skill. It introduces skill points, which is a measured learning gains from completing tasks. Skill labels a step towards tracking lifelong learning. A collection of learning labels is a summary of learning and an index to the resources themselves, and it's not limited to books, but also games, activities, VR experiences, and tasks where any learning takes place. It keeps a record of learning. Most assessments have a similar shortcoming in that they do not consider the context behind the knowledge, experiences. For this reason and others, there is value in tracking the successful completion of learning tasks, a record of learning. Tracking skills and the underlying methods and applications. There's 4 big reasons why. A basis to understand a competency, move forward in learning a skill, and signal chosen methods and applications. Situational application of skills as well. There's so much focus on institution-centric applications such as learning management systems, credentialing applications, and systems for education publishers. But is it possible to put learners in the driver's seat of their learning? Can we design applications focused on the decision-making of a learner? Learning labels are meant to work with LMSs, not compete with them. Currently, labels work ideally with Google Classroom, a single-click button for an assignment. Similar integration with the other LMSs is possible. An advantage of the learning labels technology is tracking learning regardless of the systems, stages, or standard. In science, we miniaturize to get a better understanding of how stuff works. Each time we get smaller, there are new possibilities on understanding how systems work. The same can be said in how we think about learning development and more specifically skills development. This is happening in 2 ways, understanding the methods and applications behind skills and breaking down learning into granular tasks. Okay, some of the current functionality. Connecting labels together in series. Connect learning labels in a series based on users' performance. It's possible to create a series of labels and connect them based on performance and grade each learner. Then the learner navigates through the series based on their achievements. One goal in making learning labels an effective standardized display is to provide many ways to distribute them. Each learning label gets a landing page with its own unique URL. From this page, learning practitioners get labels to their audience in many ways. There's no use in having education and training standards without us representing them in a clear, concise way. The succinctness and readability for all parties differentiates the technology from anything else in the marketplace. There is functionality for taking quizzes within the learning labels framework. This is the basic flow for learning. Labels application, labels, assessments, badges. There are views. There are currently views. They're the label, the default view, and maps and flashcards. They add more uses with no duplication of work. There are peer reviews. Number 1 suggestion from practitioners for use and adoption of the learning labels is providing a way to verify the expectations. The learning labels system includes a fully functional process to verify expectations. Personalized learning is a time-consuming process. There are 3 ways to introduce personalized learning within the learning labels technology. Okay, the future. There's already an algorithm to calculate numerical learning gains based on skills called skill points. To take this to the next generation, 2.0, let's improve the algorithm to include a coefficient, a growth rate, for each skill on a skill-by-skill basis. In the future, learning is moving to interactive books, games, simulations, and VR experiences. Let's move from screens and displays to an interactive system as proposed. Back in January, I published a paper on the learning labels technology. There's a lot of new functionality. I'd like to share some of the new features in this video. First, there's a new dashboard. It's used throughout the application to manage collections of job and learning labels. There's 2 searches, one for context and the other on skills. There's new job labels and there's seedings for a job board. You can create learning pathways to connect jobs all the way down to the tasks. There's 2 new research proposals on top of the 2 mentioned in January, and there's 3 suggestions for the crisis we're in. Here's the search engine result page. It's a dashboard. I can drag items on top of each other. I can toggle between labels, tiles, and credentials. I can search again. I can initiate functions like see a map or flashcards. Here it is for the learning practitioner. I see syllabus projects. I can make assignments to them and click on them to see where the assignments have been made. I can do series. I can add them to users. And here's what it looks like for the user, the student.
Here's the basis of the job board. There's tiles, which is basically the ROI. There's the labels. What's different with these labels is it expresses everything in skills, in prior experience, and first year application of the skills, which is interesting. Here's a job board. It looks a lot like the Learning Labels job board. Same kind of functionality. Great for making basic comparison decisions between jobs. Now, finally, we connect everything together: jobs to courses to projects to tasks. Make more effective pathways. You can make assignments to elements by dragging one over the other. So a job can accept a course, project, and tasks, and a course can get tasks and projects. Once I click on the element, I can see all the assignments in the dashboard in color, so I know exactly where the elements got assigned from. It kind of helps me work in the aggregate and understand precisely how everything's kind of built up. Everything's transparent. Each element gets a unique URL and landing page. Two new research proposals. We want to get artificial intelligence machine learning into our system, help verify the accuracy and work with growth rates. And we also want to improve the search engine, get a little bit deeper with the context and skill searches, personalize the results, propose pathways, and suggestive rankings as well. We think our system could help in the crisis. It could be used as a light learning management system. The job board could be great for contract, short-term, project-based, and remote work. I think we're going to need that as rebounding workers look for jobs. And finally, more effective pathways based on reaching the desired skill achievements and not based on semesters and credit hours. I invite you to visit our website, www.skillslabel.com. All subscriptions are waived for the time being. You want to read the full paper, there's the link to that as well. Thanks.